might have gotten the question before, what game would you bring with you to a desert island? Well, here's a game that brings the desert island to you, Mujintou Monogatari. You play as an 18-year-old guy who's on a plane going south from Japan. When the plane's engine fails suddenly, the pilots attempt a water landing, and you wash up on the shore of an unknown island. After plundering the lifeboat you came in for some supplies, you find a banana tree and build a freaking house. This guy has some skills. From this base of operations, you can explore and uncover the island, examine things you find, and craft items from materials you bring in, with the ultimate goal of escaping the island, of course. You won't be going at it alone for long though. There are 5 other survivors of the plane crash somewhat nearby to be found and recruited to your common cause. There's 10-year-old Suzune, selfish stewardess Erina, smart girl Rika, the cheerful college professor Shinichiro, and student Saori. You can't examine any places before you've found at least one person, by the way, because it's dangerous to go alone. You operate in 3 pairs, and the conversations between characters when you find things differ depending on who you put together. This game is pretty unique. I guess it reminds me a little of some of those Koei games, and the planet probing in Mass Effect 2 perhaps. Also, Lost in Blue is pretty similar, at least to the sequels. This is a Super Famicom port of the NEC PC-98 original, released in 1994. It's a pretty straight port, but in the original the house you build looks a bit more realistic, and the areas you uncover are triangular instead of square. Just as how when I first saw that the subtitle of Yakuza 6 was Song of Life, I knew that there were going to be death involved. Likewise, I knew that with the title of Mujintou, the island is not actually going to be uninhabited. There are 2 native tribes on the island, one nicer than the other, and they both know Japanese because, as you find out, the island used to be a Japanese base of some kind in World War II. I like the realism of that, but then there are also ancient ruins of Atlantis here? Okay. I don't usually go for this kind of game, but I did like it. Exploring the island is fun, and it reminded me of the simple joy of uncovering the whole map in Command & Conquer. I like the small conversations the characters have, and there are some events that happen too, like when they go swimming together. There were some risque bits from the original that were censored in this version, but it's nothing compared to the later games in this series, because just like Valis, this series also devolved into hentai with hen time. The graphics are good, the music is too, but it does get very repetitive with how it restarts with every in-game day that passes. There are also many different endings, and I'm going to spoil them, so here's the first spoiler warning in FamiFun history. So to end the game you need to build a vehicle from the items you found and craft it into other items. You can build a canoe, a boat, a hot air balloon, and even an airship, or call for help via some kind of ham radio. However, for it to work, you need to get your technology level up to a certain amount, as well as do it within 300 days. If you fail with the vehicles, you end up back at the island again, with the game telling you that you'll be there forever. If you fail with the radio, you get rescued. Actually, you get kidnapped and sold into slavery by pirates. Ouch. There's also a true ending if you get your tech level to over 90 and escape in under 249 days. So it turns out that the plane accident was no accident. It was actually a ploy by a kind of unofficial international council thing, because they know that in 5 years the world is going to suffer catastrophic climate change, and they wanted to test how long it would take for people to rebuild civilization from scratch. This old man here is like a mix of Ming the Merciless, Al Gore, and the dog from Silent Hill. So that's Mujintou Monogatari. I found it to be pretty engaging with the exploration angle, and I like the relatable human element of trying to survive on a deserted island. Sure, it can get tedious at times, with a lot of menu clicking back and forth. There are a few times you can walk around like an RPG though, which is a nice distraction if only for a moment. There's no English patch as of now, but if you know Japanese, try it out. If you don't, at least you got to learn something new today.